So I made the decision that I was just going to be a single mom and I was going to go to the sperm bank and get some sperm. Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Wahima. I'm a 38-year-old cisgendered female who lives in Southern California. And this is part 2 of my fibroid story. Decision. I started saving up money July 2020 to start going to the fertility doctor to see what was up so that I could do IUI or get artificially inseminated. So I started looking up sperm banks, sperm donors, how to get it injected and all that stuff. Then I went to the reproductive endocrinologist, Dr. Fong, and everything is through the phone at this point because now we're deep into COVID times. And so she's like, all right, so here's what I'm gonna do. And this was the greatest part about it. She told me how much things were gonna cost. She explained to me the process. She told me this is what we do, this is what we don't do. And initially I had gone to a sperm bank that was friendly for the LGBTQ community because I didn't know that my doctor's office at Kaiser Permanente had a whole fertility wing. Like I knew they did, but I didn't think that they would help me find a sperm donor and all that stuff. February 2020, I didn't mention, I actually went through Modern Fertility, which is like one of these boutique sort of fertility companies that you could find on Instagram or here on YouTube, but many people are sponsored by them. And I did one of their kits and they told me that my ABH was low. Let me make sure that's the right acronym. That my ABH was low. So basically saying that my ovaries weren't producing the hormones that indicate eggs are being created as much as, you know, someone in their 20s. And it was, you know, on the low side for someone who's looking to have kids. So that's why I also jumped on trying to figure out how to have a baby and start to see a fertility doctor. I spoke to Dr. Fong on the phone and I told her what my ABH was and she was like, okay, so we're just gonna run some tests myself and then I'm going to put you in for an HSG. And an HSG is a procedure where you go and it's an x-ray and they pump a fluid into your cervix, into your womb to see how the fluid moves in your uterus. If it comes out of your fallopian tube, that means that everything is good on the inside.
Pause. If the liquid does come out of your fallopian tube, that doesn't necessarily mean that everything is good on the inside. What it means is that your fallopian tubes are clear so that if you do get pregnant, that the egg is able to travel down into your womb from your fallopian tube and there's nothing blocking it that may cause an ectopic pregnancy.
So I did that October 2020. The doctor, Dr. Huang, who did that, he had a very hard time getting to my uterus. My cervix was hiding from him. He could not find my cervix. And so I was like, listen, we're forging through. You're going to find the cervix. Don't worry. And so I'm like laying on the thing and I'm like, does it help if I like put my pelvis up, like trying to help him because I'm not like trying to wait for the next appointment. Like, let's get this done, kids, you know? He finally is able to do it after apologizing profusely. And you know, his professionalism, he's like, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to keep trying to do this. And I was like, no, you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry. I'm not going to sue. Just find it. So he found it. He pumped the fluid through and he took the x-rays and he called me a couple days later and let me know that I had a blocked fallopian tube, that my left fallopian tube did not accept the liquid as it should have. So that was a hit. And I was like, okay. And he also told me that my uterus was so abnormally shaped that he was having a hard time seeing everything that he needed to see. So if I could come in to do an ultrasound. So I went in later in October of 2020 and he did an ultrasound. I told him I was on my period and he's like, oh, that's fine. We can still do it. So I get there and I lay back and he puts in the ultrasound wand and he is like, wow, you are really bleeding. And I was like, yeah, Mom, I told you I have a very heavy period. I'm on my period. And he's like, that is more than it should be. He's like, even if you're on your heaviest day, this is more than the heaviest day. So we really got to figure out this fibroid situation because right now it looks like, based on what I'm seeing, is that your uterus is abnormally shaped. And because you have that blocked fallopian tube, if you were to get pregnant, you would be a high risk for miscarriage. You more than likely would not be able to carry. And I was like, okay. So, I went home, and then Dr. Fong called me, and she was like, yeah, I spoke with Dr. Huang, and it looks like you're going to have to talk to your OBGYN about these fibroids, because they really are causing issues, especially with the heavy menses. Like, he told me about your menses, and that sounds like, you need to be taking iron pills. And she's like, you also need to be taking vitamin D, because vitamin D is how your body absorbs a lot of your vitamins and distributes it around your body. So I was like, okay. So she put me on vitamin D, I started taking vitamin D, and I started taking my iron again. And she's like, yeah, you're going to have to build everything up, especially if you're going to have surgery to get these fibroids removed, you're going to need to take your iron. And I was like, cool. So she's like, very, very good luck. And when your fibroid situation is handled, come back and I'll be here to help you. So I called Dr. Barrett again. I sent her an email, and it was funny. And I was like, hey, Dr. Barrett, it's me again. I actually went in to see her. She was like, it looks like, yes, from what my colleagues have been saying, it looks like you do have more of these growth. And I'm really sorry that your period hadn't changed. You should have told me. And I was like, I know, I just was like, this is, what my life is I just didn't tell you. And she's like, okay, so next time something goes on in your life and you need to tell us. And I was like, all right. So she said, the kind of surgery you're going to need is going to be the one where you go in through the belly, because it looks like the fibroids are much more numerous than what I thought they were. And I'm not good at that. I have a colleague who is really good at that surgery. So I'm going to recommend you to her. And because of the COVID-19, she's probably going to be very backed up, because we have not done any surgeries. Like, the OR has been closed for a couple of months. So it's going to be a while, but I'm going to put you on her list, and her nurse is going to contact you. In the meantime, I'm going to schedule you to have an ultrasound, so that when my colleague does reach out to you, she already has some numbers and some information. So I was like, thank you, Dr. Barrett. Then I had my ultrasound, and I was waiting for the new doctor to contact me. And finally I got that call from the new doctor. We had a visit, and she said, girl, I'm gonna need you to get an MRI. These ultrasounds, I can't see anything. If I'm trying to do a surgery, I need to be able to see it. Her name is Dr. Sarah. I can't pronounce her last name, so we'll just call her Dr. Sarah. She was like, I'm gonna schedule you for an MRI, then we're gonna see what's going on. So I probably met with Dr. Sarah in November, and I didn't hear anything back from their office until January. And so I was like going to call them and be like, hey, remember me? I need a myomectomy. So can someone do the MRI? So anyways, I had my MRI January 10th of this year of 2021. I got the results back last week. My doctor's nurse, Dr. Sarah's nurse, called me and said, we need to set up an appointment with you to speak with Dr. Sarah. And so they set that appointment up for today, Friday the 29th. And I was like, wow, okay. So in the meantime, if you guys have Kaiser, I went on to kp.org and I looked at my results, because they put the results on there for you to see. So before I even spoke to my doctor, who's going to call me any minute now, I saw the results. I read the notes, and the notes told me that I have 10 fibroids at least. It has altered the shape of my uterus, and I have one that is 7 centimeters. I have another one that is 6.5 centimeters, and I have 4 to 5 that are 4 to 5 centimeters. So if your uterus is like maybe a little bit bigger or smaller than your fist, and you have 10 growths on it, in the lining, outside, like everywhere, that are causing you to have heavy, heavy, heavy periods, like, it's like, dang, it's like one thing after another, You try to do what's right. You try to go along the traditional path, and you do what you have to do to not get pregnant. You're safe in these streets, And by the time you are able to like decide to just have the kids or make the decision just to do it on your own, you find out that you're riddled with fibroids that have been causing you pain, or not pain, but have been causing you grief for the last 4 years. It sucks. And so I immediately started Googling all the words that I didn't understand. And I immediately started to look at videos of a laparoscopic myomectomy, which is where they don't cut you. They just put 3 or 4 holes in you and stick in some instruments and a camera. And they cut out the fibroids as is. The thing is, though, some of them are in the lining. And so my worry is, and maybe this is an unnecessary worry, but my worry is that they take out, let's say 5, because I don't think they need to take them all out, right? They take out 5 and then they sew me up. It's going to take me a year to heal properly. And after that year, my ABH is going to be even lower. So me just doing artificial insemination, which is an IUI, which I think of as an IUI, where you buy the sperm, somebody puts the sperm inside of you and you let the sperm do what it does. Like if my left fallopian tube doesn't open up, then that means that we have to try to record when my right fallopian tube is better so that we can pull it out of just, it's a lot. And I think I'm going to make a separate video talking about that. Talking about the IVF process, talking about like what I've learned so far. But I have decided to do IVF. That's basically the beginning and the end of that. I think it's the smartest choice and it'll save me money in the long run. But I'm not rich. Like I'm not even close to being rich. I am like lower middle class financially, you know, and I'm lucky enough to live with my family, to have that support. But like, where am I going to get $16,000 to $20,000 from? So I am pumping out these YouTube videos. My main channel is Just Call Me Wah, where I do recaps and reviews of reality TV and TV shows in general. And so I'm going to use all the money from that to go towards my surgery. I am putting myself on a very strict budget. Not to go towards IVF. I'm putting myself on a very strict budget in order to save up the money for that. And I might have to go in and sell, you know, some of my stocks that I have. And all that stuff is for my retirement. I can't dip into my retirement for that. So it's just like, where do I get this money from? But anyways, let's get back to the fibroids. So my thoughts are, and I'm going to talk to my doctor, is that I'm going to have the surgery. And I got a call from my nurse, the doctor's nurse, on Tuesday of this week, and she already scheduled a date for me to get the surgery. She's just waiting for it to be approved. And so February 12th is the date that she's waiting to get approved. It's not approved yet, so hopefully it gets approved. And then I will have the laparoscopic surgery with Dr. Sarah. And I'm going to talk to Dr. Sarah in a few minutes so she can tell me exactly what they're looking for. So everything is happening fast, and it needs to, because the faster I get the surgery, then I can heal. And then maybe February or March of 2022, and I will be 39 years old, I will be able to start the IVF journey, which is a completely separate journey on its own. That's what I have to say about the fibroids. How about you? Do you suffer from fibroids? Have you suffered from fibroids? Do you have children? What did you do? I know my specific situation is specific to me and everybody's situation is different, but I just want to let you guys know that if any of you guys are going through this, you are absolutely not alone, okay? You are not alone. It's rough. It's hard, but I can't let any tears fall. I don't even feel anything until they tell me that you can't have kids. Like I'm still optimistic. You know, I'm still going towards what I want. We'll get it done. So let me know about your fibroid journey down below, you guys. I want this kind of to be an interactive channel. I want to have conversations like this often. I have some information in the description box. If you are able to support me in this journey, I would absolutely appreciate you. I'm doing my best. And that's all you can really do, right? You guys have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Oh, my doctor. Yes, this is her. Okay.